Good evening, community of Newark. Press conference number 3. Last week we reported out here from the command center in regards to crime that's going on in the city. Monday we called an emergency press conference at UMD&J because we had 8 people OD down in the park by Penn Station from what they're saying is K2 marijuana. Those people had to be kept inside UMD&J for 24 hours to deal with some drug treatment. I am happy that the mayor felt necessary to call a press conference yesterday and to begin the process of letting folks know we need some help. Again, I still do not agree with the crime numbers that the Newark Police Department has put up, because statistically, as we respond to crime, statistically, as you listen to the radio as the calls come in, statistically, as you know, some people get no response at the time they put the call in for service. That can skew the numbers. It was good to hear the mayor say that he was outraged that there were 18 homicides between June and July. My calculations are a slight bit higher than that because I attended myself more than 25 funeral services for young men and women in Newark during the month of July. So I know that those numbers again are skewed because we're burying folks. The police department, I'm looking at the crime stat numbers for week to date for murder, 2014, 2015, for the weekend of July 26th. And for 2015, for this week, they're saying we only had 2 homicides, and there were 4 homicides last year. We only had 1 rape this year, 1 rape last year. I know that's not true. We had 35 robberies this year, 48 robberies last year. With the amount of robberies that have been going on in this city, particularly in the early morning hours as people are trying to get to work on any daily basis in the city of Newark for the last 4 months, while our children have been moving back and forth to school, while people have moving back and forth to work between the hours of 4:30 and 9 a.m., there have been over 60 robbery victims citywide. I guess that when we say the robbery is down, the young lady who was robbed and beaten over in the North Ward and forced to take her clothes off, I guess she's not a victim. I guess we didn't count her under robbery. I guess maybe we counted her under aggravated assault. So my concern, and the concern of many in the community, is that crime is not being reported properly. Crime is not being reported accurately. I witnessed last week while 2 individuals were shot at a location in the South Ward that when the code came across the radio, it came across as a 536. A 536 or a 563, whatever it is an assault. 2 people were shot. Shooting calls are in the 600 range. So now we're playing the game with coding crime to fit another crime to make it appear that crime is down. I will stand by my homicide numbers that I gave last week. I have did some open requests on the city, county, state, and federal level to see how many people have been buried, see how many homicides we have had in this city. And as soon as I get those open requests in my hands, I will call another press conference and reveal those numbers. I'm going to put up my chart that I make from actual crime numbers, from actual victims, and we're going to have that chart up and we're going to compare it to what Newark Police says. Now, am I saying at all that the Newark Police Department is not doing the best that they can? No, I'm not. But I understand, and I'm glad that Director Venable responded with us last week at our press conference and said that there's not enough officers, that crime is up, and crime is up across the country. Because to say in the city of Newark, New Jersey today, as we stand here on July 31st, crisping, walking into August 1st tomorrow, with the amount of violence that's going on in this city, with a mayor who stands and says that violence is a public health issue, and I still believe that he believes that, we have to do better in addressing what we know needs to go on. I didn't hear anything yesterday in the press conference to address the poverty issues that continue to go on, that drive much of this violence in this city. And I also didn't hear anything yesterday in that press conference talking about drug use and how that is spiking and causing much of what's going on. Because some of our people in this city want to continue to get high, and they have to get money to get those drugs. So I think if we don't have a very serious approach on the local, state, county, and federal level to deal with drug use, if this, let me just say this. If this was damn Caldwell, New Jersey, if this was damn Whippany, New Jersey, if this was Princeton, New Jersey, and half of the drug issues that we have here were being had in those communities, there would have already been national attention, and there would have already been solutions being given to the problems that's going on here in this city at this time. So I'm not blaming no one person, and I did say that I was upset and hurt, as many of us are that supported the mayor, that he had not said anything with all of the homicides that did happen. Mayor, if you counted 18, I didn't hear you say nothing 18 times. That's 18 lives that were lost, male and female in this city, and damn it, we cannot stand silent ever. When Cory Booker was in here, we was beating the pavement, we was making noise, we was shutting stuff down, and guess what? Just because the person has changed in that office, we are not going to stop attacking, we are not going to stop bringing forth issues, we are not going to stop raising our voices in this community for better.
That's right.
Some of the people that's out here in the life are tired of the murders, are tired of the violence, and some of them, and many of them, feel they have no other direction to go. So let's talk about some serious stuff. Let's put some serious issues down on the paper. Let's do some serious programs, not stuff that's on the paper that's not producing nothing at the end of the day.
That's right.
So, Ms. Jackson, what do you feel about the mayor saying about certain people are against his movement?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't see the mayor's video. And unfortunately, I don't like to respond when I don't see actually what the person said, but I know that you're asking me that question. He said it. Nobody's against the movement. We're against the direction the movement is going in. And there's some of us in the community that's not afraid to say we don't like the direction the movement is going in. It's unfortunate that we don't have people around our mayor who love him enough to tell him, hey, mayor, you shouldn't step off that curb right there. It's 5 feet of water. Maybe you should move up here where there's no water. And you get the message behind what I just said. If people really love them, when you really a strong leader, you got people on your team that check you right, wrong, or indifferent. And unfortunately, we don't have that here now. So unfortunately, some of us have to be the ones that check them in terms of this system.
So in yesterday's press conference, did the mayor propose any type of plan? I heard he had mentioned about August that he was going to come out swinging against the crime. Did he detail a plan of what that was going to be like?
Well, one of the things the mayor did say is that there's an upcoming meeting with state officials that will help us get more boots on the ground, that maybe they did overlook the fact that crime does increase in the summer months. But as a resident here, I'm going to say crime has been increasing since the One North plan's been in effect, because that has created another whole spectrum of victims that weren't victims last year. I'm saying when kids have to move from the South Ward to the North Ward, from the North Ward to the East Ward, from the East Ward to the West Ward, from the West Ward to the Central Ward, that our children were not doing that we disembarked, that we disengaged, that we destroyed, that we imploded communities as we imploded and destroyed community schools. That is a big issue that caused our children to be out on these buses early in the morning, to be walking these streets early in the morning, because many of them and many of the families could not afford to put their child on a bus every day. So those issues are still going to be issues going into the school year. So while we're not only doing this crime stat piece, we're not only talking about crime just to get through the month of August. Damn it, I want the month of September, as our kids go back to school, to be less stressful than it was last year. I don't want kids getting to school buildings. I don't want kids running back home because somebody walked up to them with a gun telling them to give them their cell phone. I don't want kids coming to school, running the teachers, running the staff, talking about somebody just robbed me for my lunch money on the way to school. I don't want kids talking about they got pushed down, they got assaulted on their way to school because they so far away from home, they had no other choice but to continue on the path that they were going. These kind of things we not only can we prevent, but we can stop. And unfortunately, right now, we're not doing that. We're not moving in that direction because the enrollment center is still open. We still send the kids all over West Hale. We still send the kids out of their neighborhood, out of their comfort zone. And that, again, is going to cause another different kind of crime, another different kind of victimization of our children and their parents as they try to move around, get the older kids to get the younger kids to school, arriving late. This whole thing going into September, in a new leadership and new administration in this city, we should not continue to do the same thing. What y'all say? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and achieving the same results. Guess what? I guess that's what I'm saying.
Well, we have a new superintendent now, Superintendent Cerf. So did the mayor discuss any, because the mayor has welcomed Cerf here, right? So did he discuss any type of plan with Cerf that was gonna eliminate the One North plan, or any type of resources that will help children get to their closest school?
Well, what I don't want to do today is culminate the two together, but I'm sure as we approach school, they're probably going to come out with the same safe passage crap that we had last year that didn't get anybody safely from one spot to the other. On Wednesday, we will be over at North Vocational, the Family Enrollment Center, Family Engagement Center, Family Do Nothing Center, where they're forcing families again to go to register their children, and we will deal with the school issues at that time. Now, the reason I connected the children traveling from so far across this city to go back and forth to school is because that is directly tied to the crime and is handled at the school level, and many of those children who were robbed, who have been robbed, weren't reported either. Because I know if that had happened, we would have put something in place to stop what was going on. I think the mayor in the very beginning made a good attempt, knowing that he didn't have the manpower. There were many from the fire department that parked their trucks in respective spots